Is it going?
I
think it's
so.
going. Hello.
Hello.
Welcome to this. Oh my gosh, hello. How are we all doing? I feel like it's been a
So
while.
long.
And this is actually our second last debate of the year
Yes.
for the book club or the debate, which is crazy. So hi. But yeah, this round is Nickleby, which was this thing. Carolyn doesn't have a copy. Bye. And we are actually joined. Can we make like a formal introduction of a very special guest?
Yeah.
I know you can't really see her, but she's there. She is there. She will be making her debut vote today.
She's gonna be napping.
I hope she betrays you, honestly.
I really hope that she's Team Tolstoy.
We don't know. We're gonna find out.
Wait, she's telling me whose team she's on. Yeah.
She doesn't even listen to the debate. She hasn't even heard what I have to say. Okay.
She already decided.
Okay, yeah. What are we even doing anymore? I don't know. We are going to be telling you our unbiased thoughts first, right?
Yes.
I guess. So do you want to go first, or should I start?
You start.
Okay. Yeah, so this is funny. So I'm on Dickens' side again, and Carolyn's on Tolstoy. But I think, okay, don't get me wrong. Overall, I really liked it. But I would say like the beginning. Do you know what I mean? Like I feel like it had a clear cutoff point. My only main gripe with the book is that I feel like it could have ended so much earlier, and I just got really fatigued reading it, I think. But like I think just reading Dickens like this, like you could tell he was getting so much better, especially after Pickwick and Oliver. Like this was just so good. It was filled with like endless quotes that were just amazing. Like I felt like I just really connected to Dickens' characters for the first time, like in the book club picks, which was amazing. And just like his language, I feel like just got so much better. His writing, his characters, it's really exciting to like actually see that. Like with the book club, I feel like that's one of my favorite things now, because I feel like reading them maybe over some weird space of time in my life that I wouldn't necessarily have gotten to see that like that clearly. But yeah, I thought it was amazing. My only like main point, and the reason why I kind of gave it 3.5 stars instead of the full 4, was just because like I know like he kept writing because he's getting paid and stuff like that, and I just, I felt like it could have been over, and I kind of lost it. Just, it got really bloated, you know what I mean? Kind of. Yeah, but still amazing. The best Dickens so far from the debate, I would say. But yeah,
I completely agree. So when Emma and I were talking about it, she was talking about how much she loved it. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm loving it too. And it's so exciting because, like Emma was saying, we haven't really gotten the real Dickens that we fell in love with after we both read Great Expectations, which was our first introduction to Dickens.
Yeah.
And reading this, just like what you're saying, Emma, is it was like the first reminder of like, yes, this is the Dickens that I love. And you're right. Like it's so interesting to see him evolve and like become the writer that he later is. And I'm very glad that we're going chronologically, because I love seeing that evolution and really seeing like the way that his writing began, but also the way that he like perfects it and introduces different characters in the way that he personifies characters, and also just like things that like inanimate objects, the way that he personifies them. It's amazing. And so I gave Nicholas Nickleby 4 stars, which I just didn't see coming, because I was I was probably gonna rate it higher than me, but no. So I was very shocked. I watched your vlog and I was like, she gave it 3.5. I gave it 4, but so I'm very excited because I am Team Tolstoy. Obviously, also just point out my shirt really quick. Tolstoy is my homeboy, so but I really love Nicholas Nickleby. The characters were so amazing, and like even though in Pickwick and Oliver, not so much in Oliver, more in Pickwick, the characters felt so just like silly. I know that he was trying to make them silly, but they were just pure over the top caricatures. And that kind of like comparing it to Tolstoy, I prefer not so much the caricaturization. But in Nicholas Nickleby, it really felt like a nice, even blend of like characters that felt very real to characters that felt very like eccentric and silly and entertaining. But that's what Dickens wanted to do. So Yes, I loved Nicholas Nickleby. I do have a few, like, obviously because I have to be Team Tolstoy, I have a few things to say.
Yes, of course.
To contradict, but yeah, I really, it was just so nice to finally get to his later books and see the Dickens that we both fell in love with. And I think it'll be even harder now to debate the two authors because they are at their like peaks of us really, really loving them. And
yeah, exactly. Yeah. Feel free to either, you can like put a star rating for it, or because this was our last Dickens we'll be reading like for 2021 since no. Oh my god, I lied. No, sorry. We'll still be getting to A Christmas Carol in December. But if you want to put like where it kind of falls for you right now in terms of like Dickens too, or like what you thought about it or anything like that, if there, you know, you want to argue for Tolstoy or Dickens in the comments too, and like help Dickens, that would be great. But yeah, so those were our initial thoughts.
Yes.
And yeah, oh my gosh. Okay, so someone loved Pickwick.
Oh,
that's
wow.
really interesting. Dang. Okay.
Very, very interesting. Nice range.
Yeah, 3 stars.
Yes.
Yeah, 3. See, I feel like I had to save it because I feel like by the time we get to like his later works, it's gonna like push it all the way to 5 stars, I guess.
That's
yeah. So the way we're gonna structure this again is pretty much just the same. You guys know how it goes. I guess we're gonna start. Oh no, Carolyn's gonna start with like a nice synopsis.
Oh yes.
And some background. Okay, this is giving me so much hope. This is giving me so much hope.
Betray me, come
on. But yeah, go ahead, take it away.
Okay, so I am, you know, the little history nerd, so I always like doing the background on the book and the synopsis. So at the time that Dickens started writing Nicholas Nickleby, he was actually in the process of also writing Oliver Twist.
Incredible, can I just say?
And by the end of him finishing up Nicholas Nickleby, he was actually starting his next book, Barnaby Rudge, which we will be reading in 2022, one of our first books, I think, after A Christmas Carol. And let's see. Okay, so this basically follows the adventures of Nicholas Nickleby after Nicholas Nickleby Jr., after his father passes away, and he is now in control of his family and their well-being, and his sister and his mother. And it's really following, which is what I really liked about this book as well. Sorry, Team Tolstoy, but another thing that I really liked about it was how we not only followed Nicholas, but we did get a look into his sister Kate and also his mother and a few of the other characters. I felt like it wasn't just this one complete view of just Nicholas, which I appreciated. So yes, this is his third novel. Obviously, he was writing it in between Oliver Twist and Barnaby Rudge. He actually began it at age 26 and finished it at age 27. I find that incredible because he's so young.
Yeah.
Okay, so Dickens and his illustrator, I believe, traveled to Yorkshire boarding schools to get some information on how they were run and for the writing of Nicholas Nickleby to understand. And he saw the incredibly poor conditions that these boys lived in, and a lot of them were maltreated to the point of death and major sickness and even blindness. And this passion that he had for like wanting to make people aware of the mistreatment that these boys were under, he wanted to put that into his book and raise awareness for it. So that also kind of goes under what I have in my notes for intent. We always like to talk about like why it was written, why do we think there's significance for this book, and one of Dickens's goals was to expose the ugly truth about Yorkshire boarding schools. And then another thing that I just have to shout out my favorite character, Smike. When Dickens was visiting the cemetery that is at the boarding school that he went to, he also based the head teacher, the headmaster, do you call it?
Yeah.
He based it on the real man. He based school on him. And to the boys, he based it on that school. Anyway, so yes, when he was walking through the cemetery, which was just full of these mistreated young boys, he got the inspiration for Smike. It doesn't really, I didn't find any like specific information on how
Yeah.
he came up with the name, but looking at all of the gravestones is when he had the inspiration to create that character. Um, and yes, oh, because I did write it down in my notes. So
Hmm.
Rockford Squares was based on William Shaw, which was um, the
Headmaster.
headmaster of this boarding school. It was called Bowes Academy. Yeah, so it said,
Hmm.
yeah, I wrote down several boys had died and went blind from mistreatment and neglect. Like, I just can't believe that. And I feel like that's exactly what Dickens was so shocked by,
Yeah.
especially because the growing up with his father going into the debtor's prison and him working
Yeah.
in the blacking factory, I think a lot of it was just he wants to raise awareness for all of these things that are going on that maybe some people from all different classes, because all different people in different positions in society read his books. So I think that that was his chance to really raise awareness for the things that are going on in the world
Yeah.
that maybe people aren't aware of. Yes. I do have one other thing to say
Yeah.
about the author's life and experience
Yeah.
relating to the book. Something that I found really funny was Dickens's own mother, Elizabeth Dickens, was the model for Mrs. Nickleby.
No.
Yes, and it also said, I found it online, it said somewhere, luckily for Charles, she didn't recognize herself in the character. In fact, she asked
Oh
someone
no.
who really believed there ever was such a woman.
That's so like
Right?
on with Mrs. Nickleby as well. Like
I
she would
know.
not recognize herself in
Yes,
her.
exactly.
That's amazing. Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Wow. I had no idea his mother was like that.
Right? I know, I
That is
know.
so funny.
Says I wonder
Mhm.
because I think he based a character in David Copperfield on his father.
Mhm.
So yeah, I find it really interesting to see like where he got his inspiration.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. That's so funny. Okay, so what's the next thing we're doing? Is it
You want to
writing?
just go right into writing? Yeah.
Okay, yeah. This is the section I have like the most to, I guess, say. But like we were already saying, like the writing in here was just gorgeous. Like the first page when they're talking about, I don't know who, I think they're talking about Nicholas's grandparents or something, sitting down, like not to a game of cards, but like to a game of love and stuff.
Ah, that's one
I
of my
know. And then from then on, like it just like continues in this like glorious little unfolding of like sentences describing like what's going on. And then something that was really cool, like you remember in the Pickwick Papers how he would go off on these little side avenues and tangents and stories within stories. Like Nicholas Nickleby also has that for like a couple of instances, and then they all together disappear, which was a little bit disappointing because like just his ability to like create like one big world and then insert another little pocket of a world within it, like another story. And like those were, what were the two stories? The one with like the guy who had the coffin, the
Yeah.
coffin man come to
Oh
visit
my
him.
goodness.
And then the one with the monk and the group of sisters, like those were just like gorgeous, gorgeous lines. And he just, I don't know, they're so good. They're so beautiful. I was really upset that they kind of disappeared from the rest of the book. I don't actually know the reason why, but I don't know. Maybe he just changed his mind or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think at this point in the debate, like talking more about Tolstoy and Dickens now, I think I'm firmly convinced, and I would say I'm firmly on the side of like Dickens in the specific sidetrack of his description of things. I just adore his description of things much more than Tolstoy, even nature,
Wow.
especially buildings and people. I just think like Tolstoy, it's there, it's very real, but I don't ever feel like it's something I can like touch, interact with. I don't feel like it has a personality. I feel like Tolstoy is more hesitant towards personifying like either nature or a building or like a chair. Like just Dickens' ability to like make a character out of a chair in like one sentence is like
Yeah.
unparalleled, honestly. And I just feel like at this point, I just love Dickens' way of doing it so much more. I feel like Tolstoy is, it just falls a little flat for me. It comes off in like a monotone quality. Do you know what I mean? It comes off more in like a list like quality.
Okay.
And I'm not saying I hate it. I'm just saying I prefer Dickens' very, like, at times fantastical, playful
Yeah.
description.
Can I
Go.
point out a comment
Yeah.
I see?
Yes, absolutely.
This book was a DNF for me because of the writing. I have enjoyed
Wait, what?
writing way more.
Wait, where? Pretend I'm not seeing it.
Yep, right there.
Oh, no.
So I think, like, look, okay, I agree with you because I do
Yeah.
think, like, no one makes the mundane magical like Dickens.
Yeah.
He does it so well, and it's like his
Yeah.
trademark. But at the same time, I do feel like it's one of those things where writing style is so
Yeah.
particular to the reader.
Yeah.
And I think that that's just something that's like, I don't think one is better than the other. I just think it's personal preference. So like I completely agree with you, but at the same time, there is a quality about Tolstoy's just like his honest beauty and the way that he puts things. He doesn't have to fluff them up with like anything. It's just real and raw, and that's what I love about Tolstoy. But at the same time, I do have those moments where I read how Dickens personifies a chair, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is amazing.
Amazing.
Yes.
Yeah. I feel like even sometimes it changes from like mood to mood that I'm in. Like if I'm just like, okay, Dickens, like stop. Just stop. Or I just want like Tolstoy's like rawness. But I think like overall I do prefer what's his face, Dickens. Something I wanted to like, I know you don't have a physical copy, but I don't know if you like saw this. It's on page 65, but it like, I was like, I think it's one of your favorite Tolstoy quotes actually, but like obviously Nicholas Nickleby came out before Anna Karenina, which is where the quote comes from, but I'm just like, this is saying like the exact pretty much same thing. It says there are shades in all good pictures, but there are lights too if we choose to contemplate them. And like it just reminded me of I don't remember it, but the
yes
the light and dark one.
Yes, life is made up of light and shadow.
Yeah. I was like, Tolstoy.
All the variety, all the
Yeah.
beauty of life is made up of light and shadow. Yeah.
I know. I was like,
I see you, Dickens.
And then just in like the construction of his story too, like I just love where Dickens take things, like the whole thing with the coffin man, like he's just a man made up of coffins, like his shirt is full of coffins. It's in one of like the side stories, but it's just
something
like
that you said
so
in your blog. I was like, I wish that it was coffin core.
I know.
Yes,
I just want to see if he takes that anywhere else, because like it was in Oliver Twist.
It's in A Christmas Carol.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. See, so I think it is a thing.
We'll keep an eye out.
We'll keep an eye for it.
Yeah.
But I just think Tolstoy would never. Period. He would never do something like that. And not that that's not whatever, but
he would compare a man's evolution to the evolution of an oak tree.
He would, though. That is true. That's true. And then if you want to move into like we were talking about Dotheboys Hall and the schools that Dickens was writing
Dotheboys
about.
or Do the Boys?
I heard my audiobook person said Dotheboys, but they might have been really wrong. I don't know.
I watched the 2002 movie adaptation, which
is Do the Boys,
and they pronounce it Do the Boys. I'm like, okay, yeah.
If anyone knows,
let us know if you know.
Yeah, but like those sections, I cried. I shed like, it was just so emotional, like so, like he has so many different sections describing the school and like the conditions and like the boys' lives there. And I feel like when like Dickens chooses to take on something like that, first of all, it's like not the only thing he chooses to take on. It's like part of this bigger thing, but then he like focuses it down to this like one paragraph that just like comes out of nowhere sometimes and hits you in the face. But I feel like it's like a challenge to the reader to like read it and not do anything about it, not like have a reaction to it. Because I'm not sure how anyone could like read those sections and not be like, at least acknowledge the problem or like have some sort of reaction to it. But I think like I don't feel like, obviously Tolstoy and Dickens are talking about different issues in their book when Tolstoy chooses to talk about like society and stuff, but I don't feel that same passion, or not necessarily passion. I just don't feel the same call. I don't feel the same call to emotion or to like response when Tolstoy describes like different things that are going on. Like it's more of an like abstract thing that's just kind of out there. I feel like Tolstoy like takes us down, like he really like takes us down there. And like we are reading Resurrection right now, which is our next Tolstoy book for November, all of this month, which Tolstoy does really touch on like a lot of issues in society, and especially like the prison and the justice system and stuff like that. But when he's talking about things that are literally of the same caliber, like people suffering and injustice and stuff, like I don't feel it. I don't feel it. I don't have the feelings, if that makes sense. I don't like. I really want to know if you do.
I definitely do.
You do. Okay.
Like when I was reading about Dickens explaining the like he was describing the condition that the boys were in. At people are saying, "Do the boys." So I think
do the boys. Okay.
Yeah. When he was describing how they looked, and it was so heartbreaking. And then I'm reading. We're all reading Resurrection, and Tolstoy was describing the process of like the prisoners going to Siberia, and that's something that I feel like is very rare, which you don't see that much, and especially because Tolstoy, from what we've seen from him up until this point, he's really focused on the aristocracy, and I think that's just because that's what he knew growing up in a high position in Russian society. But I think that it's really interesting to see the change that he's undergoing, especially from Anna Karenina to Resurrection, because I felt like the same feelings that I felt when reading about the boys' condition at Do the Boys, and then about the prisoners' conditions going to Siberia and the mistreatment of the justice system in Russia at that time. It gave me a similar feeling, even though it's very different. The process of them describing each thing is very, very different, but I feel like it did have very similar effects on like me emotionally.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I want that. See, I want that. I don't know why it doesn't
Emma.
get to me. I think it's just because like it's just the line, and maybe like obviously we're reading Tolstoy all the time in translation, which always feels bad, but I don't know.
Do you know what translation you're reading?
It's the mod.
Oh,
of Resurrection, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I think I'm reading Rosamund Edmonds.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. So I wonder if that would be different, but
yeah.
I mean, for me, I feel like a lot of people ask me about like Russian translations, in my opinion. I haven't really come across one that I dislike.
Yeah.
And I do feel like I have compared them before just for my own like curiosity, and I don't see that much of a difference, but I would be interested to see like if you read a different translation,
what
maybe
it would be like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Specific section, what you would think.
Yeah. I don't know.
Oh, this is a nice comment. Resurrection shows us a panoramic view in life, from the cruel reality of things to the compassionate and beautiful side of things. It's wonderful. I agree. Thank you very much.
I'm not going to talk about Resurrection.
Oh yeah, no, we'll save that.
We're not going to talk about it.
Of ourselves. The book that Emma hates.
Okay, whoa, I have nuts.
I'm kidding.
You can't just source me like that.
Oh, Dickens is too depressing.
This is really interesting because, like,
ooh, can you elaborate?
Say more, Camilla. We want to know.
I want to feel the same way. The books are so much better in Russian. Okay.
Carolyn, we have 3 years.
Learn Russian.
Yeah, that's interesting because like Dickens is. I don't think he's he's just both, you know, and he like combines them. Like 1 minute, like you're like snorting, laughing, and then the next you're like crying. Anyway, the last thing I kind of have about writing, if you have any more, please tell me too. But the building descriptions in Nicholas Nickleby, the furniture descriptions, they were first of all beautiful. But okay, if I can like find you one, maybe I can. But it just like tells you so much about it, and like it works so well to first of all like give you a good grounding in like the location, what's around you. Like it feels like you're there and like you have like a good map of it in your mind, but then like it also adds on the later layer of just like being so beautiful. And then it also informs you so much of like who people are that are living in these places, what the neighborhood is like, what like is informing each other from the building to the character to the character to the building. For example, in Arthur Gride's house, we have this like fabulous Gothic moment where his house is just like this haunted house. The chairs are like hostile and evil. The chimney is like staring the like neighboring chimneys out of countenance. It's just like gorgeous. And then Arthur Gride is very much just like another chair like hobbling out of his house, and it's so cool. But I just love that way of looking at things, and like I miss that. That's the number one thing I think I miss when I switch back to Tolstoy, because I just don't think not that I don't want to say he doesn't take the time, but like I don't have a good sense of like where I am in a room, right? Like it feels more like you're in.
That's his priority, though.
That's
like,
what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah, like Dickens wants to give that to the reader, and I feel like Tolstoy is much more interested in the complexity of like human emotion and his beliefs and philosophy and religion and people's like emotional evolution and what's going on in society and how that relates to the characters. So I feel like Dickens is interested in those things as well, but I just think that their priorities in terms of what they want to portray to the reader is very different. A lot of people, let me see, I saw a comment that I wanted to mention. It says, I feel like Tolstoy is way more touching because Dickens is really up in your face, shoving as much down your throat as possible until it literally was like, chill. Which I think the whole thing is personal preference, and also because like we were saying before about writing, like sometimes I love it and I'm like, yes, give me, a personified chair, give me all of that up in my face, and that's fun. And then other times I think the simplistic beauty of how Tolstoy he describes things just how they are, and he doesn't need to fluff them up because that's not his priority. He's focusing on other things. He's focusing on the character development and how outside sources are affecting the people that are in his books, and it's so I think it's just a mixed bag of like what is too much for a person, what is too little, like in terms of descriptions.
Like I think I would I know Tolstoy is like interested in that, right? He's not like trying to populate a room with like 3 dozen different kinds of chairs and stuff like that. But I think for me, like it would actually add on to the emotional intensity and just like the human aspect, because like yes, he's talking about more universal abstract things, but like I think Dickens, like it, for me at least, like obviously it's personal again, but it just adds so much this like touch that isn't there in Tolstoy that like connects you more to and it would connect me more to what Tolstoy is trying to talk about when he's talking about philosophy, and especially in War and Peace, I feel like we got that a little bit, but I don't know, what did you guys think? Like what's better for you? Like sometimes it definitely is too much, I think, in Dickens, but
I'm seeing a lot of mixed opinions. A lot of people are saying it really, it depends on the person and their preference.
Absolutely.
That's completely true, and I think that that's what I love about doing doing the debates. Like, because the whole point of this was like Emma and I asking each other, even before this was a thought in our heads, like, well, who do you prefer? And it's so interesting just because they're both incredibly beloved writers, and obviously they're still read hundreds of years later, and so it's just amazing to still be able to talk about them in this way and figure out like what we like and don't like about them. So Dickens is more entertainment for me, and Tolstoy goes through the soul. That's completely true, and I still think about too people that don't know like why we're doing this debate. They're like, there's such different writers. How can you compare them? And it's so true, because I kind of felt like they hold very similar places in my, but they're very different in that way, if that makes any sense. So I just find that really interesting, because it is almost impossible to compare them, but here we are.
I think too, like that adds on a element of like comfort. Because I totally get that. Like you want that like atmospheric, like not necessarily coziness, but things feel more cozy when it feels like a bit more closed in. Whereas in Tolstoy novels, the space just feels very large.
See, I do feel the same way about Tolstoy though, because sometimes,
Yeah. Oh, do you? Yeah.
yeah, like
Okay.
when we were reading Childhood, Boyhood, Youth, we were going through a lot in my family. 'Cause
Mm-hmm.
my grandmother was sick, and so I was like so emotional all the time, and like reading Tolstoy and reading Childhood, Boyhood, Youth, it felt like such a comfort because
Yeah.
reading about like, well, we've all read it. Hopefully, this isn't a spoiler, but like Nikolenka,
Like
loses
the
someone in
grief and
his
stuff.
family, and it was just like that immediate connection that I had, that emotional connection. So I think, yeah, I think it can go
Yeah.
both ways. Again,
Yeah, that's
depending on the reader,
that's true.
that's what's so interesting. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, Tolstoy is cozier for me.
That's really interesting.
See?
I don't know.
Yeah. No,
That's so cool.
yeah, right? Isn't that cool?
That's so
Because
cool.
they're like, I think that what's so interesting is like two authors that are like polar opposites. First of all, we do have to remember that Tolstoy was a huge fan of Dickens. Um, so these writers that even like admired each other. I don't know about, they don't really say how Dickens felt about Tolstoy if you even read his work. Um, at least I don't know. But
Yeah.
yeah, I just find that so interesting. Someone's asking, will there be voting?
Oh,
At the
yes.
Yes,
Oh, there will be voting.
yeah.
The voting will occur.
Yeah, we were thinking about just keeping the polls till the end
Yeah,
so
I
that
think it kind of makes more sense.
hear what we say.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, do you want to move on to character?
Absolutely, I do. Do you want to start, or do you want me to start?
You can start. You can start.
Okay. Okay, the first thing I want to talk about, I just thought it was so cool that we got like, because we're reading A Christmas Carol next in December. We got, it's like proto Scrooge almost with like Ralph Nickleby,
Mm,
Nicholas's uncle. Like he
mhm.
just, it was really cool to see that kind of, not like archetype of character who's very greedy and like, kind of cruel. But like it just reminded me so much of Scrooge, and like I felt like I could kind of see where like the idea was like coming, and like he already kind of had that in his head, because even in the second little short story, it's about a man who gets confronted by a spirit of, is it death? I believe it's just death. And like that was a really cool moment of like spirits and stuff like that. And there's like so many descriptions surrounding Ralph that's like, oh, he wouldn't have been more, you know, surprised that like a spirit come back from the dead and like assaulted him basically. But it was just, I was like, oh, that's so cool. That's like going to turn into, well, like I kind of see it. I don't know if that makes sense, but
Yeah,
yeah, I thought that was so cool.
yeah.
Yeah.
I definitely see that too, and it's interesting to think like the characters that Dickens liked to,
Yeah.
I guess like
Creating and
the
stuff.
character types that he liked to have in his stories. I feel like the all of his villains, like I would love to put all of his villains in one room and just like see how they are with each other and like the similarities and differences, because I do feel like they do serve similar purposes.
Yeah.
Um, so that's also like kind of a counterpoint that I have to say. Like
Mm. Oh, yeah.
I thought
Okay.
like, okay, can we
Okay.
talk about Nicholas for a second?
Yeah.
Okay, so Emma and I were talking about how we both really loved Nicholas, and he is a great character, but I do feel like he was slightly one-dimensional, like because he was just like he was good and that was it, and he, and like okay, like it's amazing that this young man is, so warm-hearted and wants to do good, and but at the same time I just felt like he was a little flat for me. Like I wanted more dimension. I wanted him, I guess I wanted to like get in his head a bit more, which I feel like Dickens really didn't give to.
Yeah.
Um
I would agree with that.
uh, thank you.
I would, but I do have also something to say. So,
Okay, say it.
okay, I feel like when we're talking about one-dimensional characters, I think it kind of ties into like because we always talk about theatricality and like the theater of Dickens and how a lot of people either love it or hate it. But I think like the introduction for this edition, which is the Oxford, it came with like a really good explanation actually of like the way that Dickens is theatrical, and it's kind of like a different way than we would think about it, because it meant something different. And he says, above all, to equate theatricality primarily with role-playing is to misrepresent what 19th century stagecraft actually was. Actors assumed roles, of course, but the idea of an actor becoming identified with a role is historically remote from acting method in Dickens' days. Then an actor presented a part in a way that kept the audience continually aware of the man or woman behind the mask. And so you would have had like the distance enforced between the person performing and the role being performed. And so I feel like that kind of, like in Dickens' earlier novels, a lot of them are, like, I feel like they are really one-dimensional. There's no kind of hiding that, because Pickwick's good the whole way through, Oliver's good the whole way through, Nicholas is good the whole way through, the villains are villainous the whole way through. But I think like that's his, I think he's like doing it intentionally, like that's his style, that's like his theater thing. Like they are playing roles, but they're not like roles that we see. It's not like a, it's like you kind of see both, you know what I mean? Like you see the person playing the role, and then you see the role too. So there's kind of like a, just like a both at the same time. But I think it does also take away from like the possibility of creating a well-rounded character sometimes as well. Like you're saying, like we don't get into Nicholas's mind.
Yeah. Because like,
yeah.
Can I do a comparison?
Yes, absolutely.
So like comparing him with my man Levin. Okay, like Levin is a very complicated character because like we have his goodness, but we also have him questioning all of everyone else's beliefs, his own beliefs, the way that he feels about women, the way that he feels about the serfs, the way that he feels about everything. We get all of it and we understand him so well. And I feel like that is what makes him so real and so raw. And with Dickens, I just feel like I can't get to that level with his characters. Like,
yeah.
My favorite character of Nicholas Nickleby was Smike, and so I want to talk about Smike.
Yeah.
But just to like even with Smike, even though I loved his character and I felt like his character was very complex and there was so much to it, and his history was so heartbreaking, but like the way that we get so deeply involved in Tolstoy's characters is kind of what I want from Dickens. Like I want that, but in Dickens's writing style.
I know.
That makes sense, you know?
I know. I think we'll get it eventually.
We'll get there. Yes.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yeah. I know.
Let's see. Smike, yes, 100%. Amazing.
Oh yeah, you want to talk about Smike? Yeah.
Yeah, I want to talk about Smike.
Okay.
So Smike again was inspired or came to Dickens's imagination when he was like going through the graveyard.
Yeah.
Yes. I loved how he was. See, okay, so this is the thing. Like with Nicholas, it's kind of like he is good for goodness's sake. But not but Dickens, but Smike, his history is so heartbreaking when we learn about how he was treated as a young boy and how he was just like left at Do the Boys, and then Squeers kept him on just for his own benefit, and basically beat him and treated him horribly, but he is still like he's almost lost all hope, and then Nicholas comes into his life and reinvigorates the hope in him. And yeah, someone is saying, can we talk about Smike and Nicholas's friendship? Yes. Oh my gosh, it was amazing.
It's like a Frodo and Sam kind of thing.
Yeah, so many people have said that to me too. Yeah, or I've heard that. But yeah, I really loved Smike, and that's what I want from all of Dickens' characters. And I think that's what we get from Tolstoy so well, is we get their background, but we also understand like how they are presently and the person or the people that they want to become in the future. So but yeah, Smike. Oh God.
Yeah.
And his like kind of becoming a part of Nicholas's family. His like love for Kate. Oh my God.
And the ending. Oh my gosh. I did not see that. I did not see that coming. That was very upsetting.
Yes. We didn't really talk about like spoilers and unspoilers, but
we're in the spoilers.
We're in the spoiler section. Okay.
Just saying. Yeah. What were we talking about? I think like when you're talking about Tolstoy giving you like the background and stuff, I think like just the way that it's written, right? Like I'm not saying that Dickens like he's not on the same level, at least not right now, but like I love the way that he like lets you know exactly who someone is in like one sentence. Like when he describes Squeers, it's just like this one sentence that packs a punch. He's like, Mr. Squeers was against animal abuse, and so like he gave the boys, natural death, dying cows, you know what I mean? But like obviously he just abuses the boys through the whole book. Or like when they're talking about Ralph, and he's trying to say like he's trying to give someone a blessing, and then Dickens writes the blessing seemed to stick in Mr. Ralph Nickleby's throat as if we were not used to the thoroughfare and didn't know the way out. Like it's just I just love it. It's so fun, it's so clever, but it's also like one snappy sentence that like it provides you with so much like good information. And sometimes like I'm just not in the mood to read like 3 straight pages of someone's entire life, which Tolstoy has like no problem just smacking in his book. And I feel like there is that element of like show and tell, where like not necessarily showing or telling is presented as like negative or positive in like Tolstoy or Dickens. Actually, it's just like their way. But like I don't prefer having like someone give me a page and be like, okay, here's their whole life, here it is. Even though, like you said, it does make them more like it fleshes them out. But I like the way Dickens does it. It's like stranger, more subtle, entertaining characters. I don't know. Yeah,
I get you. I don't know. Yeah, again, like it's all personal preference, because
I know.
it's like same thing. So, because I'm trying to think, like, well, how do I feel? And I feel like it really does depend on my mood a lot. Like I'm such a big mood reader, and I feel like so many of us are. So sometimes I am in the mood to like give me one sentence that describes this character in a really clever way, and then other times I'm like, tell me about their entire history because I know about them. Yes. Yes, like Dickens one-liners. Yeah, definitely. Also, someone. Oh my gosh!
She dropped her dog. Did you forget?
Oh
my god!
Are you all right? She's fine. She's fine. Someone said, I think Carolyn will love Daniel Pegati. I don't know who that is. Should I do a quick
Google?
We're gonna do a quick Google.
The cheerables were a little bit too cheery, yeah. That is true.
Oh, I do have something to say about the cheerables.
Okay, go ahead.
Hold on, I'm typing. Pegati. Oh, fictional character. Oh, from David Copperfield. Okay, I will look out for him. Oh yes, from David Copperfield. Willow is fine. She's good. She just put off my lap. I caught her though. She's fine. Okay. While I was doing some research, I found out that the cheerables. Okay, so I'm just gonna read what I have. The story of the benevolent brothers who aid Nicholas and his family resulted in Charles Dickens getting hundreds upon hundreds of applications for loans, gifts, and other requests for aid to be forwarded to the originals of the Cheeryble brothers. So Dickens claims that the brothers were based on real persons with whom, this is a quote from Dickens, with whom I never interchanged any communications in my life. Paul Davis is the Penguin Dickens companion. In the Penguin Dickens Companion, says that the brothers were based on William and Daniel Grant, Manchester calico merchants, whom Dickens met in 1838.
Oh, that's so fun.
So they're like based off of people, which I found them hilarious.
Yeah,
they were so funny.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I also want to talk about Newman Noggs because
he's one of my favorites.
Oh my god, I loved Newman Noggs because I think what was so great, and it kind of reminded me of Bob Cratchit in The Christmas Carol, where we have like Scrooge, who is the like
Mm-hmm.
nasty main character, and then we have Bob Cratchit, who's like the sweet, kind-hearted, you know, man. And I like the duality of that because they're both like in the same scenes together, but then they're very different characters, and I think that it kind of evened out like Ralph's cruelness.
Yeah.
Yes, Newman Knox is the purist. He kept making me laugh too.
Yeah.
You know, I always laugh from a character.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, wait, we're going up to this comment because I just saw it. Tolstoy can be funny, but he's sublime. There's nothing funnier than Pierre trying to assassinate Napoleon. 100%.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Okay, what?
Yes. No, keep going.
Okay, should I? Okay. Kate and Ralph and like their dynamic when they had scenes together.
Yes.
I thought that was like the most interesting like relationship I think in the book because it was just like it was just like so changeable and like so like both sides like influencing each other, and I just thought that was like the most well represented and well played out relationship in the whole book. And like it was so touching to like see Ralph like kind of break down that facade and kind of see for a few minutes like what he is and what he's doing, but then immediately put it all back up like when she leaves and stuff, and it was just so sad. Yeah. Oh, so good.
Oh, definitely. I do want to talk about, this is kind of along the same lines, but a little different, his characterization of women. We just have to
Nicholas.
like talk. Yes. I feel like he is evolving, but there's much more evolving to be done.
I loved Kate. I really loved Kate.
I loved Kate too. But I do want to talk about Madeline, who is Nicholas's love interest.
Yeah, she's like gone from my mind.
Okay. Well, she was just like fainting every other scene.
Yeah.
Okay, girl, you either need just settle down a little bit, like take a deep breath. I did feel like, was the romance between Nicholas and Madeline necessary? Like it just kind of felt a little like an afterthought, or like let's just put it in there for romance's sake.
Yeah, but I think Dickens books like always have that for romance's sake like component to them because they're like, you know.
I just wanted to see what you thought about that.
I feel like I don't remember any parts where she
forgot about it.
Yeah, same. Me too. Yeah. I don't know. Like I have like it's not even a thing in my mind. I don't remember her ever even saying something, which I'm sure she did. But it was nothing revolutionary. It was nothing lasting. But like I think like in terms of like a Dickens book and like the theatricality and like the plot, and like he based a lot of this on like it says the novels he loved when he was a boy, like Robinson Crusoe and stuff like that. Like the hero has to, you know, fall in love, which I'm not going to be like, can we please not have it? But definitely wasn't something that I was like, I want to read about this. Do you know what I mean? I was just like, I don't care.
I feel like it could have been there, but done a little bit
better,
like developed a bit more, because we have Kate's storyline, which a lot of people are saying that Kate like really made them love the story and
and
I completely agree. I loved following because I do feel like so far we haven't had a female main character, or at least like a prominent female character in a Dickens yet.
Like Nancy was cool, but still not to the like level.
But I did like her character development from the beginning to the end, because I do feel like she did have this really great arc, and I'm just, you know, just like I just keep thinking of Smike. But I mean, I definitely think that he's getting better. And Kate was I thought Kate was so strong, and what Ralph kind of put her through, and all of the manipulation, that like even though you could tell that it like kind of broke down his character, and he did care about her much more than Nicholas, you know, he didn't care anything about Nicholas, but I think that like that's what we want from Dickens and Tolstoy too. Like, granted, both of them were not the best at representing women. That is a fault, obviously, of history, but at the same time, it is interesting to look at as a modern reader. So
Yeah.
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 Um,
I think that I only have like a couple points for the plot, but like Kate is one of them. And like I just loved like basically the whole plot of the book. Well, okay, one of the like bigger plots of the book is just like the job market of like Victorian London and like what's available and what you can do and like when you're in a position like Nicholas or Kate, like what do you go do? And that was like so interesting, but I just loved like seeing Kate, like what her opportunities were, what she got to go do. I thought that was so interesting. Why she goes to work in the milliners, and then she gets in a bunch of trouble there because that's just like a whole other society, like a whole other world. And then in like every single job, like Dickens, I feel like pretty like even what is that word, even-handedness. There's an even-handedness.
okay.
Yes. When he's like describing the jobs and stuff like that, like he illuminates the wrongs and the rights, and like he doesn't give you some like, oh, this place is just full of this, because there is still some like positivity. But like seeing Kate like, you know, go to the milliners and then just her whole thing with her uncle, I like that was like some of my favorite parts of the story too. Yeah, so fun.
Definitely. Someone said how Kate was molested made me so mad. I definitely agree. But I do feel like it did add a lot to the story and to her character and to like the complexity and all of the like her story. I kind of feel like it. I don't know. I liked how he was getting so like there was brutality and then there was humor, and like there were scenes that were making me very mad and there were scenes that were making me like laugh. So I do like how Dickens juxtaposes really well like humor and sorrow, which I think, or even just like anger. I think he does really well. Yeah, and someone else said Little Dorrit is Dickens giving a female character a pretty good and well-written story. So I am very excited for more from him and his female
that's
characters.
True. Yeah.
Yes.
So sad. And the twist? Did you see the twist coming with Ralph?
Oh, I knew that there was going to be something like that because I'm like, there has to be like
something.
Yeah, like because I kept asking myself like, why was Ralph like that? And I feel like with Tolstoy, we always like get a really well-rounded view of the characters, and with Dickens, not so much. So I do feel like there is this question of like, well, he's villainous, but why is he that way? What made him that way? Like, I also something else that I would have loved from Nicholas Nickleby was the dynamic between the two Nickleby brothers, like Ralph and Nicholas the First. I think that would be really interesting. Like, did they get along? Did they not get? I mean, I knew we get like vaguely, but I would have loved more of that.
Yes. Yeah. It was so sad. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Well, we didn't talk about Dickens and his theater. He finally got to write his theater troupe.
Yes.
And like engage with that.
Yeah.
That was so fun. That was so fun to see.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. I do feel like that was him in his glory. Like, oh.
Yeah. Yeah. Very fun. That's all I have to say about the plot. Yeah.
And then intent, I do think that it was just, which I think is what Tolstoy, what Dickens does in all of his books, is like because he had such a wide readership, he could talk about these things that maybe the upper class or different like people from different positions in society weren't aware of, like mistreatment of young boys in boarding schools, and so I do think that it was just him kind of writing for entertainment, of course, writing for a profit to make a living, and to just have fun. I kind of feel like, and that was something that I always find so interesting is like Dickens wanted to become an actor. He wanted to go into theater, but after being like refused multiple times, he obviously pursued writing. And so if he was accepted and became an actor, we wouldn't have any of these books.
No.
Like, oh, thank God he was refused, you know?
Yeah.
Good, you were meant.
Yeah.
And then he can, of course, like pursue those things in his writing, which I do feel like acting, you act out on a page. Like, yes, you don't act out in a story, but you know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What do I have to say? I don't know. One of the cool things was that like it was kind of a running thing throughout the book was like him talking about like the gentleman and aristocracy, and how like
Oh yeah,
Nicholas, like people perceive Nicholas in a certain way because of the way that he acts, and like just him like discussing that whole like discussing that like breakdown and like how do you like fit in, what are the roles, like can you rise above like your station and stuff like that. And Nicholas like kind of being able to break the mold, at least in the way that he was like perceived, or just the way that he's acting like that. I didn't like really track that very much, but I think that'd be something if like I were to reread the book, I'd want to go back and like do a deeper little dive on. But yeah. But yeah, I absolutely agree with everything you said. Like I think it was such a good look into Do the Boys and stuff like that, which was so good.
and I do feel like that's what I love about both authors is I feel like they have so many concerns about the world that they live in, and they take that and they make beautiful stories to express all of their beliefs and to try and portray that in their writing and to affect the readers in that way. And because I think they had a really nice view of like, I know that I have this platform, I guess, of like being a well-read author, and I'm going to use it for good. And I like that because they're kind of trying to express their beliefs and also just like the conditions in the outside world that they're all a part of.
Yeah. He like says that actually on page wait, what chapter is this? Roman numerals. 18, chapter 18. He says there are many lives of much pain, hardship, and suffering, which having no stirring interest for any but those who lead them, are disregarded by persons who do not want thought or feeling, but who pamper their compassion and need high stimulants to rouse it. And then he goes on to say, like, that's not what we're doing here. Like, that's not what we're going to do. Like, I'm just going to show you how it is. Like, you're not going to get that, like, here, basically. Like, it's going to, like, slap you in the face kind of thing and not, be fluffed up, essentially.
Yeah.
Definitely. Which is cool. But yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I think that's. Yeah.
Okay. Do you want to go on to favorite quotes?
Yes, absolutely. There's so many good ones in this one. And like, if you guys have favorite quotes too, please leave them below. It's like definitely. So good. Oh my gosh. Do you want me to start?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. I think one of my favorites is on page 212. It's about Kate, I think, and it's Kate might have said that morning is sometimes the coldest wear which mortals can assume, that it not only chills the breasts of those it clothes, but extending its influence to summer friends, freezes up their sources of goodwill and kindness, and withering all the buds of promise they once so liberally put forth, leaves nothing but bared and rotten hearts exposed. There are few who have lost a friend or relative constituting in life their sole dependence, who have not keenly felt this chilling influence of their sable garb. She had felt it acutely, and feeling it at the moment, could not quite restrain her tears.
Aww.
You know. Oh, should I put the vote on? Will you say?
Oh yeah. Okay, I have 4. They're all nice and short, and my first one is very basic. I feel like it's everyone's favorite quote, but I don't care. I'm just gonna say it. Okay. The pain of parting is nothing to the joy of meeting again. I just love it. It's so great. I'll do another one while you're. Okay. I think this is the one that you mentioned in the beginning. Thus, two
Yeah.
people cannot afford to
Oh
play
yeah.
for money. Sometimes sit down to a quiet game of love. Oh, for love. Um, and then my third one is family need not be defined merely as those with whom we share blood, but as those for whom we would give our blood.
That's so nice.
Do
Oh my gosh.
you want to share your other one?
Yeah, and I also put the vote on my channel, so it's probably either in your subscription box or if you just go to my the community tab.
On your channel.
You should vote for Dickens. Okay.
You should vote for Tolstoy.
You should vote for Dickens.
What was that, Willow? Willow says for Tolstoy.
Don't speak.
She's saying, yeah, vote for Tolstoy.
Oh my god.
You guys have to listen to Willow.
Okay, I think my last one is from page 60. It's from the short story about the sisters.
Okay.
And never, sisters, cried Alice, never barter the light and air of heaven, and the freshness of earth, and all the beautiful things which breathe upon it, for the cold cloister and the cell. Nature's own blessings are the proper goods of life, and we may share them sinlessly together. To die is our heavy portion. But oh, let us die with life about us. When our cold hearts cease to beat, let warm hearts be beating near. Let our last look be upon the bounds which God has set to his own bright skies, and not on stone walls and bars of iron. Dear sisters, let us live and die, if you list, in this green garden's compass. Only shun the gloom and sadness of a cloister, and we shall be happy. So nice.
So many people are for Dickens. I'm getting a little nervous.
Tolstoy. These are so nice too.
Oh.
Gotta embroider some of these on me. Dreams are the bright creatures of poem and legends. Ah! That one's nice. That one's really nice.
People, where are my Tolstoy voters? Oh, good. Emma, thank you. I'm still for Tolstoy.
What?
I have a final quote. Shall I share?
Yeah, do it.
Okay. It's always something to know you've done the most you could, but don't leave off hoping, or it's of no use doing anything. Hope to the last. I love that.
That is so nice. Wow. Okay, so far 45. Wait, let me refresh. 51 votes are in. You guys are fast. Oh my gosh.
Another team Tolstoy. Yeah.
Oh, I think we all did.
Oh.
Oh, someone asked you just while we're waiting, what is the new reading schedule going to be for next year?
Okay, so
would you like to?
Yes.
We have news.
We have some changes coming to the schedule. So for you guys don't have to worry about that yet. We're going to do a whole revamp of the schedule and everything, which we're in process of
with
doing.
Some new exciting things too.
Yes, very excited. So all you have to know is that for December, we are going to be reading A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens, but we also have another optional book, which is Mr. Dickens and His Carol by Samantha Silva. So that is optional. We are going to be talking about it in the debate live show.
But not as much,
Yeah, but not as much. So yeah, we have more Tolstoy people. Yeah. Okay. Sorry, I'm reading the comments. What? It's oh my god. Go with you anywhere.
The world's churchyard. Carolyn, come with me to the world's churchyard. Oh my god.
Oh my god. So sweet. Christmas Carol, best Dickens book in my opinion. I mean, can't argue with that. So yes. Anyway, A Christmas Carol for December, optional Mr. Dickens and His Carol by Samantha Silva.
That's historical fiction about Dickens struggling to write A Christmas Carol, I think.
Yes. Which also, I have seen it last year. It's the movie The Man Who Invented Christmas. It's starring Dan Stevens, and it's incredible. Like, oh my God, I love that movie. And I really want Emma to watch it. But we found out the other night that there is a book that is also called The Man Who Invented Christmas. I forgot who wrote it.
Yeah.
So we might read that at some point, like
Right.
the next years.
Mhm.
But yeah, that's something to look out for since it's the holiday season. If any of you guys want to watch it, I highly recommend.
Mhm.
But yes. Christopher Plummer, yes! Oh my God. He played Ralph Nickleby in the 2002
Oh,
adaptation.
really?
Mm-hmm. He did
Oh.
good. He did a really great job.
Dang. It's actually the votes right now, I think they're like the closest.
What are they?
Right now it's sitting at 40% Dickens and 60% Tolstoy.
Yes,
I
people.
know. That's like a good catch up though.
That is a very good catch-up.
That's
Which
good.
I feel like Dickens does deserve, you know?
He does.
He
And
does.
Christmas Carol is gonna be good. Good.
Yes, I can't wait for Christmas Carol. It's gonna be, I think, like my 4th time reading it. I think.
Oh yeah. This will only be my second time actually.
Yeah. Oh, can't wait.
Yeah.
My favorites.
Oh my gosh.
Jacob Marley was dead to begin with.
Maybe we've been. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
I
But
don't think
will
we
be good.
have been too harsh, though. I think we have been particular, which I feel like
we
we
need to be harsher.
What?
We need to be harsher. We need to argue.
No. Yeah, I mean, we didn't argue too bad this time. I feel like it was pretty good. Because I feel like we both agree. I mean, on different things.
Yeah.
I think we're going to argue a lot for Resurrection.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Resurrection is the book for November in case.
Yes. We're reading Resurrection right now. That will be on my channel. We haven't picked a date yet.
Yeah.
We were thinking of doing the Christmas Carol live show towards the end of December instead of the beginning of January.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll either do the Resurrection live show at the end of November or beginning of December.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay.
We also have the Dark Academics live show at the end of November too.
Oh my God. Okay.
Yeah. Which also is not scheduled, but
yes, and that's on your channel.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Okay.
All the live shows. Yes. Oh, Miriam, my girl.
Come on.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have also made this change as well. So when we were planning out the book club, we thought that we would switch teams like every 2 works so that like we would have an even amount. But now we are going to do it on whoever has enjoyed the book more is going to be on the team of the author. So like, for instance, Emma is not liking Resurrection. I am liking Resurrection. So I'm going to be Team Tolstoy.
Wait.
Yeah, so I'm going to be Team Tolstoy for Resurrection because I'm enjoying it more. Emma's going to be Team Dickens. And then let's say down the line, if we read Little Dorrit and I like it more than Emma, then I'll be Team Dickens. If that makes sense.
So it's mostly like
sense. Okay, great.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, cool. So I think that'll result mostly in like you sticking with your homeboy, and me with mine, you know.
Yeah. Do you have a t-shirt though? I don't think so.
I have something. I'm not going to say anything.
Oh.
Okay, we're done. You're done. Yeah. Okay. I think we answered the questions. If that makes sense. Yeah.
Yes. If anyone has any questions, feel free to ask now, or maybe, you know, if you're watching this later, you could leave it in the comment or something. But what if you both like it? That's going to be
rock,
tricky.
paper, scissors.
Yes, there you go. The sophisticated way, rock, paper, scissors.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, I missed this one too. It hasn't. Great Expectations, I believe, is in our 2023 schedule. Early 2023.
Let's see.
Which is painful to say.
No, it's
Oh,
in
2024?
2024. It's March 2024.
Well, stick around, Max. We got a long way to go. Oh my gosh. That hurts a little
Guys,
bit.
how do you feel about almost finishing our first year of
I want to
year
like print
3?
out like a certificate.
I think we have to.
That'd be so fun.
Yes.
Yeah.
People are, you're excited for A Tale of Two Cities in 2024. I can't wait for David Copperfield as well. I know there's books that I'm so excited for.
Yeah. Okay. The last vote.
Oh, we haven't voted.
Oh yeah, who's it gonna be?
For each, I mean, I feel like it's kind of obvious, but okay, should we say it at the same time?
Yes.
Okay.
It's so hard. I don't know. You always know. I'm always on the fence. I'm so indecisive.
Okay, well, I'm obviously Team Tolstoy still.
Okay.
So Emma.
Yeah.
Who's
I think Dickens, because I don't know.
Interesting.
I don't know. Just I don't know. Okay. Or maybe Tolstoy. Dickens, Tolstoy.
Can't pick both.
It's just because like Resurrection is like.
Well, you haven't finished Resurrection, so you can't vote based on Resurrection.
I am finished with it though.
Oh, you. I was like, what?
No. I'm like halfway. I'm like 300 pages through. Yeah. Anyway.
Wait, someone asked, when will the Old Curiosity Shop be? We're going to update the schedules at the beginning of the new year. So you don't have to worry about it yet. But the Old Curiosity Shop is going to be
it's like after
February and March
of
2022. Wait.
What?
Was it written before Barnaby Rudge? Do I have that messed up?
Well, you said he was working on Barnaby Rudge at the same time he was working on Nicholas Nickleby.
Yeah.
Unless it was published later.
I'm going to do a quick Google.
Anyway, we'll also be putting, or at least, I think we'll both be putting out videos, like probably January 1st or something, which will be like a recap, like welcome to the book club, going through the schedule for the rest of the year too. But yeah, okay, I will embrace the Dickens.
I just Googled Dickens novels in order. The first one that came up was David Copperfield.
Oh, Google.
Clearly Google. Come on, Google. Okay, hold on. Barnaby Rudge. Yes, okay. Barnaby Rudge first. I have to switch. Cool. Thank you for asking, because I would have had that incorrectly.
Okay, we have 221 votes in, and it's still sitting at 40-60, which is actually cool. Guys, I'm excited.
I'm excited. Hey, Emma, sorry, but Tolstoy still won.
Okay, I understand.
Okay, it is fixed now.
Amazing.
DNF Resurrection?
No,
Okay. I was gonna say, have we like made that a rule that you can't DNF? I mean,
well, I'm not gonna DNF it.
Okay, good.
I'm not gonna DNF it.
Let's see.
So I think we both just glitched out.
Everyone is saying that you're Team Dickens 100%.
Yeah, I think so. Oh, thank you guys so much. This is so fun again. I missed this. I wish they were more frequent.
I know. Well, I think that they're going to be.
True.
Because
they'll
now, sorry, just reading. I get so distracted by it. Because we have like obviously War and Peace and Anna Karenina took 2 months. And then I think later down the line, because we're having Tolstoy's shorter works, it's going to take only 1 month. But Dickens have his long
Yeah.
works. Gonna take 2 months. So it just depends.
I think it'll be like more frequent live shows too, which will be fun. Or maybe we'll surprise you guys with something.
Yeah.
Something cool.
Yeah. They're
Um,
saying that I'm a Hufflepuff and you're a Slytherin or a Ravenclaw. Interesting.
Interesting.
Yes. Okay, I'm not Hufflepuff.
What are you?
I'm Ravenclaw.
Oh dang. I don't even remember.
Wait, what?
I don't remember. I think I took it so long
You're
ago.
probably Ravenclaw.
Probably. I mean, we read books.
We read
If
books.
they're gonna put us in there.
We talk about, we compare authors and talk about them on the internet. I feel like that qualifies us as Ravenclaw.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway,
this is so nice. I hope you guys have been well. Whatever you've been doing or not doing or whatever.
someone's asking, where do we vote? You guys vote on Emma's channel if you go to the community tab, or it should be in your subscription boxes.
Yeah. Cool.
Okay.
Aww. Thank you guys so much. This is so fun.
Much. Yes, I know. I always have like before. Emma and I are always so nervous, and then now I'm like, yay! Like this is fun.
Aww.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Thank you so much for listening and being in the book club.
We will see you for Resurrection, which is, yep. You're gonna have to resurrect me after trying to finish this book. If you know what I'm saying. Okay. All right. That is all. I think, unless Willow wants to say goodbye too.
Oh, okay. Wait, hold on.
Oh, this poor dog.
I know. She's like, stop waking me up. She's like, please leave me alone. Okay.
Oh, baby.
There she is. Hold on.
Okay.
Okay. Say goodbye.
I can't. Bye, guys.
Bye.